I filmed half of this video 2 months ago. And the stuff that I'm about to show you, I picked up so long ago that I can't even really remember how it all went down. Hey guys, I'm RNG Gamer. I play all my games randomly, and this is a pickups video for you. I don't really remember what happened or where all this stuff came from, so we're gonna be rediscovering it together. This has never happened on this channel before, but I actually have a game that I finished before I put it in the pickups video. It's a homebrew done by Laconic Software. They sent the game to me graciously, and I played it on one of my channel member videos, and it's called Strife Sisters. And this is an actual hue card on the TurboGrafx 16. Strife Sisters is a tactical / strategy RPG that is really unique. I've never quite played anything like it. It has an interesting kind of grinding and leveling up mechanic that you do between rounds, where you sort of spend money and randomly roll the enemies you're gonna be fighting against. You don't really lose anything other than your money when you fail, but you can gain a lot of new formations and level up your characters in between each round. As soon as I popped this in, I was like addicted to it. I really liked this game. I don't want to spoil too much of it for you because I am going to review it later, but it's a great game, and Laconic Software actually knocked it out of the park with this. I think it might be the best and most fun homebrew, like original game I've ever played. And you can go order it right now on their website. And they didn't pay me to say that. That's actually my own opinion. I think it was a great game and I had a lot of fun with it. We got a game from Fangamer, and I saw Northern Lion play this one a little bit. I thought it looked crazy. It's a 1-bit horror game, and it's called World of Horror. And the little bit I saw of Northern Lion playing this looked insane. This game looks crazy. I've heard people say it's like one of the scariest games and most disturbing games they've ever played, which is amazing for a 1-bit game. You can see the gameplay footage down below. This is one of the standout games that I remember seeing someone play that I really was anxiously anticipating coming out physically, and I'm so glad it did. Oh my God, my nose is running so badly. Oh, that's real attractive. It won't stop running. My nose won't stop running. I went out hunting with Mundane Designs and Retro Wolf 88. And we went to some antique malls and we found some games. I picked up some games. The first one is one of these Realtek bootleg Genesis games. I love these things. The games absolutely suck, but they're fun to have. And I only paid a couple dollars for this. But it's Funny World and Balloon Boy. And you can't tell me that doesn't look like the worst freaking game ever made. Holy crap. I hope there's gameplay footage of this down below. I don't know if I was able to find it or not. This might be too obscure to have any gameplay footage. Oh my God, my nose is running again. I don't know. I'm excited to edit this video to see what this game actually looks like. But it seems like it says get ready for a challenging, hysterical shooter that the whole family will enjoy. It looks like you're shooting teddy bears with a gun. And Balloon Boy is 50 awesome levels of balloon popping action. Your mission is to blow up, pop, demolish, and kill as many balloons as possible. Those balloons have been asking for it, and by God, it is time for them to pay the piper. Anyway, few bucks, excited to play this one. I gotta go freaking blow my nose again. Holy crap. This isn't working, dude. Like, my nose won't stop running. Maybe we can just like stuff some tissue like up in our nose and no one will even notice. So while I was hunting with Retro Wolf 88, he pointed out this game. And I very rarely pick up any sort of superhero games whatsoever, but he swore to me that this game is really good. And I believe it's actually done by Way Forward. I can't confirm that, nor deny it, but that's what he told me. And I paid $2.50 for this. They had it marked at $5, but they were doing a half off. Batman the Brave and the Bold, the Adventure, the video game. It looks like it's a side-scrolling beat 'em up, dude. Some of you out there have played this game, and maybe it's awesome, maybe it's not. Who freaking knows? Retro Wolf told me it was good, and believe it or not, for a scumbag reseller, he actually has pretty good taste in video games. and he'd be okay with me saying that. I mean, this is stopping the nose dripping on the floor predicament we're having going on. Maybe we'll just do this between rounds. I don't know. I picked up a PSP game. It looks awesome. The cover of it's like the coolest looking cover. Looks like an old Blind Guardian cover, if you guys are familiar with that German thrash metal melodic power metal band from the 80s. But it's Fading Shadows? It looks like it's a puzzle game. 40 single player levels, entirely unique style of action packed puzzle gameplay. A single teardrop is all that stands in the way of darkness. Maybe this is really cool. Maybe it just sucks. Who knows? I'd never heard of this before, but it's 10 bucks. And to go along with it, we picked up a Wii game. I picked up a Wii game. I think saying Wii made me say Wii. Isn't that weird? We picked up a Wii game? I picked up a Wii game called Alien Syndrome. Now, I've played Alien Syndrome on the NES, and I think I played it on the Sega Genesis. I've never played it on the Wii. I didn't even know that they like rebooted it. Everybody tells me that this is either okay or that it's god-awful. We're gonna find out. We're gonna play it. So we will see. I think this is $6, so $6 game, man. You can't pass up a $6 game even if it just looks mildly interesting. Let me know, is this any good? I don't think it is. I did a video a few months back where I bought a game collection sight unseen. I paid $300 for it. I brought it home and filmed myself looking through all of it. Well, I cherry picked out all the stuff I wanted from that and I stuffed the rest of it in the closet over there, and there it sat until Bucky and my other friend Jeff mentioned that they wanted to do some trading. Here's what happened. People are on their way over right now to trade. See if we get rid of some of this stuff. I don't want like any of it. I took everything out of all this I wanted. This is all like extras. Well guys, they just left. They weren't on camera. They didn't want to be on camera. So I didn't dox them. All of the stuff that I put out, I traded it except for one box. And if you want to know what was in those boxes, you can watch this video, which is linked here, where I bought a collection sight unseen. It was full of a bunch of weird stuff. That stuff's just been sitting in my closet. I traded all that, and all I have left is the Castlevania Requiem Collector's Edition box, and just a box of like Intellivision stuff that, and a couple other little games that someone else had an interest in it. That was it. They took all my extras. I had about $350 in the stuff they bought. That's how much I had in it. And the stuff I got, boy, let me tell you, pretty random. A complete in-box copy of The Secret of Evermore on the Super Nintendo. Never played The Secret of Evermore. I think it's supposed to be a pretty decent RPG on the Super Nintendo. I had it before, and for some reason, the copy I bought didn't work, and I returned it to the store, and they didn't have another one, so I never grabbed it. But this one has a little bit of love on it, but I essentially traded some of those books that I picked up, like the bitmap books for it. I also traded for some Pokemon stuff, Pokemon Stadium, a sealed Shin Megami Tensei Devil Summoner 2, Killer 7 on the GameCube, a little stack of games that I then traded to Bucky. So I traded from one guy to another guy, and that went into this next batch. Here's where things start getting a little weird. I traded my loose copy of this game, which I had about $50 in, and some of that other stuff, for a complete in-boxed copy of an excruciatingly rare game. This is Vampire Killer on the MSX computer, and this is the very first Castlevania game. This started development before Castlevania 1 came out. Now, Castlevania, the original, was released before this came out, but it is based on this. And I picked up that copy of Vampire Killer in another one of my pickups videos. So it went with a stack of some of that other stuff towards this. This is worth about $250. And it's in such good shape, it even has the Konami tape on the edge of it still where they cut it. Unbelievable. Now, it's gonna get even weirder now. The only console I don't own that I wanted to collect for is this one. And it's the Philips CDI. There it is. And the claim to fame with the CDI, this CDI in particular, is that this CDI was refurbed by the last employee that worked for Philips that was a CDI tech. It has been refurbished to basically last forever. The highest quality caps you can have on it, a new laser, everything. It should last my lifetime, I hope, because the CDI is notoriously flaky. So that bad boy's valued probably at about $450. I traded like the Ouya's and some of those weird online consoles, the OnLive and some other stuff for this. I'm happy to have it. I traded about $450 worth of stuff for it. I also picked these up. Tetsuo Gaiden, which is a shoot 'em up on the CDI. I love shoot 'em ups. I want to pick up every one of them I can. Excited to have this. The Wacky World of Miniature Golf with Eugene Levy. This is apparently supposed to be a really interesting game. I'm excited to have that one. Tetris. It has the slipcover on it. This is supposed to be a really cool copy of this game. Happy to have that. And one of the classic adventure games on the PC, and the CDI version of it's great, and this is the game I've always wanted on the CDI. Seventh Guest. There was an electronics store, a little small one in a strip mall storefront near where my mom used to grocery shop. And I remember going in there with her and they had a CDI set up. And I would go in there and play the Seventh Guest. And I wanted one so badly. Now the CDI is a 4th generation console. It's in the same generation as like the Super Nintendo. Even though it used like CD-ROMs or a CD-based format. I think that's really cool. And I love that it was like the beginning of that full motion video sort of craze. Now when I traded for this, it did not come with a controller. He's loaning me his controller for the CDI, but I believe you can get adapters for the CDI so you can use like Sega Genesis controllers and stuff. I'll be getting one of those. I also picked up 2 kind of like rare Atari 2600 games in that deal. Frankenstein's Monster, this is about a $20 or so 2600 game. It's pretty chewed up, but that's okay. Most 2600 games kind of are, man. They've been kicking around like 40 something years. Flash Gordon. Happy to have those. We valued those at about $35 together. Now this last one is a console I really don't have much of an interest in owning because it doesn't have very many games for it. But Bucky wanted to trade me out of basically the rest of my stuff. He was about $180 or $220, I don't know, I think $220 short of being able to get almost everything. And this is an obscure console. It's probably the most obscure console. I don't know what I'm gonna do with it, but I picked it up. If you know what this is, you know what it is. But it's a freaking Nuon. This is a Nuon. Where's the logo? The Nuon is a stupid DVD format. And some really expensive DVD players made by Samsung and maybe a few others when DVDs were new had this format in them. And the plan was you buy a DVD player and it can also play these Nuon games. So it's a console and a DVD player. What a great idea. Too bad Sony came in with the PlayStation 2 and did the same thing and blew them out of the freaking water. There's just a handful of Nuon games. They are very expensive. I don't think they're very good. I got one in the deal and it's this one, Ballistic. And from the back of this, it just looks like the game Zuma that you can play on the 360. The problem with the Nuon is that the controllers were like 800 bucks. People bought the DVD player not knowing it played games. Most of them were bought just to be used as DVD players. And people didn't buy the controllers, so the controllers are very, very, very expensive. Luckily, not that long ago, they released an adapter so you can use Dreamcast controllers on the Nuon. Wrong, not Dreamcast, Nintendo 64 controllers. Ugh, I got the adapter. It was worth like $50 or $60 or $70 or who knows. It doesn't look like Bucky ever used it. It's still like zip tied up. It's the problem with the Nuon, man. It doesn't have any games you want to play on it. I have a CDI and a Nuon. 2 new consoles to collect for. Just what I needed. It's about $1,000 worth of stuff. I had about $350, $370 in the other stuff, so I tripled up. That's a good deal. Now, back to your regularly scheduled video, which is probably being filmed a month from now. Welcome back to the present day. I went to the Game Central Station Shop and Swap, and Two Dudes Games, one of my favorite stores, is just fed up with limited run games. Like, they don't like limited run games anymore. They don't want to buy it. They don't want to sell it. But they had one limited run game sitting around that had been in their stock a while. They weren't able to move it. It was one I had a passing interest in, but I ultimately passed on it when it came out. But they sold it to me for like half price. And it's Made of Scare. Or Skr. Skr. Are you scared? I believe this is the #2 PS5 game that Limited Run Games put out. But anyway, it's a first-person survival horror game set like in a hotel or something like that. That seems like what every freaking survival horror game is these days. This one looked okay. I was on the fence about it. There was some reason I didn't pick it up. Maybe it was that I just didn't want to spend the money on it, or maybe that it required like a bunch of patches or something like that. Now, I did film a video where I went to that convention, but after I had packed everything up, put everything away, completed my day's task, and I was getting ready to walk out of the convention with my daughter, one of the booths nearby flagged me down. They had a bunch of stuff that I was kind of interested in. They didn't want to take it home with them, so they made me a killer deal on all of it. Everything you see from here on out in the video, I paid 160 bucks for. So what the value of all of it is, I don't know individually, but in total it's 160 bucks. I think it was a really good deal, but maybe I'm wrong. This is a game from Limited Rare Games. They're the people that put out like Tamashi and Poop Slinger and those games that were like really ultra expensive on the PS4. This was supposed to be the next one, but everybody kind of had jumped on the hype train by that point. Still kind of a semi-valuable game-ish, maybe. Not that valuable. Not $5 grand like Tamashi got up to or Poop Slinger. But it's Demon Pit. I don't really know anything about this. It says, "Arise, demon hunter. It is time. The years you spent slaughtering demon kind in the mortal world did little to cleanse your soul. And your sins have been laid bare, and you have been judged. You are damned for eternity. The pit awaits." Man, sounds like the plot to Doom. Anyway, I know none of the games they put out have been any good, really. It's more of a joke company. They even make their website look like it's a scam, which I think is kind of cool. That's meta, right? I think they even call their storefront FOMO-porium. Like fear of missing out porium. That's so funny. I've been on a bit of a Metroid kick recently, and I've been trying to pick up all the games. This is one I passed on. It's the remake of the second Metroid game, which I came out on the Game Boy? The Game Boy. God, my voice is cracking. It's Metroid Samus Returns. I remember when this came out, people were kind of on the fence about it. They liked it. They thought it was a good return to Metroid. There hadn't been a good Metroid in a while, but it wasn't quite as good as what everybody had hoped for. So I think a lot of people were disappointed with it, even though it was probably a really freaking good game. I mean, I don't know. I haven't played it. I've kind of been on the lookout for it since it came out, and I haven't really seen it anywhere for a good deal other than when it was like brand new at the stores. So excited to play this one. I wish I could stream it, but I don't know how to stream the 3DS. I can't. So I just point the camera at my hands, and nobody wants to see that. I picked up the sequel to this game in the Game Central Station Shop and Swap video, but I didn't pick up the first part of the game till after I was done filming for the day. But it's The Suffering. And this is kind of a hidden gem sort of survival horror game that I hear people mention all the time being pretty decent from that time period. I know a lot of people want it on the PS2, and I think it's kind of pricey on the PS2, like maybe $60 or $70, but I mean, it was like less than 20 bucks on the Xbox, and nobody's collecting for the Xbox right now. Everybody just cares about the freaking GameCube. It's just GameCube, GameCube, GameCube. Don't try to compete with everybody on the flipping GameCube. Just collect something else. If you just want to play the game, you can play it on a different system. Play it on the Xbox, dude. The Xbox is good. It's good enough. I don't know if it's as good as the GameCube, but it is good enough. And I don't know why I picked this up. I don't know why I did it, dude. It's a GameCube game. I picked up the Xmas version of this on the Xbox, but they had this one for a couple bucks on the flipping GameCube. It's whatever. It's Outlaw Golf. She is wearing thigh-high stockings, a pleated plaid skirt, and a midriff crop top. They knew what their audience was. You know what's crazy about this? You know who the publisher of this is? I can't believe this. Outlaw Golf. Sexy Golf is published by Simon & Schuster. What the actual crap? I just looked it up on Wikipedia. I knew Simon & Schuster was a huge book publisher, but I did not realize that they are the third largest book publisher in the United States. Famous for publishing over 11,000 New York Times bestseller books and freaking outlaw sexy golf. Why? Why would they venture into that game publishing and then they're like, they know how to pick hit books. Why would they pick that crap as a game? Why would they think that was a hit game? It's not a hit game. I don't think it was. Was it? Was it like Game of the Year? Did Outlaw Golf win Game of the Year? Let's talk about something else. Have you guys ever seen these before? These are the Donkey Kongas. These are the Konga controllers that you play on the GameCube. I've always wanted to try these out and I've never gotten to play them. And so when I saw these, I really wanted them, dude. Like, it seems fun to like play like a Donkey Kong rhythm game. And the game that came with these is Donkey Konga. And here it is. This is just a rhythm Donkey Kong game, man. Like you hit the bongos at the right time as the things appear on the screen. I guess it's kind of like, what's that famous rhythm game with the, is it the Taiko Drum Master? I can't remember. I played it in Japan and thought it was great. This is supposed to be a pretty decent rhythm game, but why I really wanted to get these was to play this next game, Donkey Kong Jungle Beat. And I think this is actually a freaking side-scrolling or 3D platformer that you play with the bongo drums. That's so dumb. That's such an incredibly stupid and dumb idea. I love it. Why would you ever do that? Only Nintendo ever thinks to do crap like that. I didn't even remember I picked up a bunch of this stuff, and I don't even know what you guys saw in the clip that I spliced into this where I did the big trade with Bucky and Jeff. So it was like a voyage of discovery for both of us. Sorry my nose is running so badly, but thank you for watching if you made it this far. Consider subscribing to see more of me. I appreciate all of you, and I'll catch you guys next time.